Welcome to the 20th week after Pentecost. It is Wednesday, October the 9th, 2024. This is the Manna at the Tap podcast, where we as a community actively seek the spiritual nourishment our souls crave. The daily lectionary reading we explore together is the manna designed to nurture our spiritual growth and provide the sustenance our souls need. I'm Gloria, your fellow traveler on this spiritual journey, and together we offer and receive insights and interpretations from these readings, enriching our spiritual lives. The lectionary text for today is Psalm 55, verses 1 to 15. The psalm describes the intense pain that King David is feeling after a close friend has betrayed him and the person has also gathered others to try and kill him. The strong and fearless David had killed a lion and a bear with his bare hands when they attacked his sheep. He killed the Philistine Goliath with only a stone from his sling. He led a band of mighty men as he kept out of the reach of King Saul, who was jealous of him. This fearless man is now troubled and filled with restless thoughts because he's being betrayed by someone he was close to. This is not the image we have of the strong and fearless David. Although the psalm does not tell us the name of the person who betrayed him, it tells us how David dealt with the situation. He chose to cry out to the Lord and asked him to listen to his prayer, hear him, not ignore his plea, and answer him. The threats from David's enemy had paralyzed him, and he confided to the Lord that his heart was filled with anguish and thoughts of his own death. He didn't know what to do and wanted to avoid conflict and flee the situation altogether. He wished that if he had the wings of a dove, he would just fly away and there he would hope he would experience peace. He even thought of fleeing so far away and staying in the desert. But at that very moment, David had a Selah moment. That's verse 7. Instead of running away, he changed his course and he hurried to his place of shelter, far from the tempest and storm. In those moments of Selah, David poured out his lament to the Lord by taking his focus off the enemy and placing it on the Lord, who would act on his behalf and be the one to confuse his enemies and bring about justice. David asked the Lord to swallow his enemies up and for the Lord to confuse their plans because they had believed lies about him. And so instead of defending himself, he left it up to the Lord. It was much bigger than David was able to handle. He was in anguish because this unnamed person had been a close friend, well known to David. He had been a trusted advisor whom David had listened to, and they had enjoyed sweet fellowship at the house of the Lord together. For David to be betrayed by this trusted friend was very painful, and he asked the Lord to let death take his enemies by surprise and let them go down alive to their deaths because they were opposing Yahweh. He prayed that they might meet the same fate they wanted to impose on him. David wanted to leave justice to God instead of seeking his own vengeance. Whenever we feel betrayed, as David felt, and we don't know what to do, David has set a pattern for us to follow. God wants us to confide in him and to seek him with all of our heart and to cry out to him for protection. David teaches us to take the matter to the Lord, trust in the Lord, and be confident in his deliverance because the Lord is able to solve problems.